Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? We are live and here to talk about 40k Advanced Tactics Heroic Intervention. I am Sophice and here's Ravius Prime, here to take a closer look at one of the hot topics for competitive play. I think this is something that's always bogged me, and I'm not a super expert at Heroic Interventions myself, so I'm here to talk to Rob and really, you know, get a better understanding from it in the tournament aspect, because this is really one of the biggest things I feel like that would make the difference between a good player and a like an entry level player. So if you're in the competitive scene, I would feel like this is probably something that a lot of people would have a lot of questions on to touch about. So, Rob, explain to me. I understand the basics of heroic intervention, but how can I utilize it to really improve my game and become better? Because for me, I feel like it's just using it to protect my guys. But is that all there is to it, or is there a lot more?
The heroic intervention of old, if you were an old hat player, if you played in third, I don't even know if it was back around then, but in at least seventh and sixth editions, heroic intervention, the entire purpose was for your great heroes, your sergeants, like the leaders of your squadrons, to take initiative and to protect their kind of subjects. Like, so you would have your sergeant who would be better in close combat. Like, if your squad was engaged and one of you wanted to get challenged, there was this very complicated process for the heroes to fight in this battle, and everybody else fights in their own battle, and it was irrelevant and didn't do anything. However, in this, the heroic intervention, because characters are not no longer embedded within the squadrons themselves, they've kind of turned heroic intervention on its own head. And the thing is, it is a charge on your opponent's turn. Like, is a
Oh, okay.
very brief summary of how to describe it, is being able to do that. Now, if you want to look on the big rule book, it's on page 182. It's this tiny little box and has a really big influence on the rest of the game. And here, I've set up a kind of a scenario where there's a whole bunch of different things happening. Yes, I mean, like, you're not going to find all of these things happening at the same time, and you're not going to it's not going to apply. But there are going to be moments where you can move your troops to form up this kind of scenario, and you're going to be facing opponents where, like, you don't want to, like, for example, like if you're fighting against a Tau army. Everybody knows uh, all
Tao's very shooty.
yeah, well, not only that, but Tau gets to overwatch together. So if you
As a
charge
group.
one guy, everybody gets to shoot,
Yes.
right? So I cannot think of the name of the rule right now.
For the
I
greater
think,
good?
did my mic go? Yes, for the greater good.
Yes.
When I have my Smash Captain, like, I want him to do his thing. I want him to get in there. Like, if I just charge in, I'm going to take all
A
the
lot of
greater
shots,
good,
yes.
because again, the character rule doesn't apply because the unit's being charged by a character, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
I get to overwatch that unit, even if there's something closer, right? So, like, right here, like, if we have a set of Necrons right here, like, this is my Smash Captain over here. He's protected by character rule because this dude right here, this lone little guy, he is protecting my Smash Captain because he is a member of this unit, and this unit here cannot shoot my Smash Captain because the closest thing is this guy right here. He's 2 inches away.
Okay.
Yes, he's out of cover, but and the rest of the squad is in cover. Now, if, like, they start shooting, like, I can kind of elect, oh, I remove this guy, and the rest of these guys are going to start getting cover bonuses. But I mean, again, these are like kind of tactical decisions. Like, once I remove this guy, now this guy is the closest to this squad, and I
And you
can
can
start
shoot
shooting
him.
at him. So again, this is kind of a multi-aspect different thing. Like, the reason I'm doing this is because, again, all this is going to be advanced tactics. You're going to be, like, positioning. This is the kind of fine-tuned positioning you're going to be doing, just so that you can take full advantage of all the rules that you're trying to get into.
So
Now,
for the viewers at home, so what we're seeing here, you set up a scenario where there's Necrons versus Marines of some sorts, and so on the upper right hand camera, as you guys can see, it's the top down view, as you can see here. So this is all the top down view, and then the camera right in front of us is the just a better angles for you to see what's going on. So as you can see,
That's the drama. That's the drama camera.
the
Like that.
drama
This is
camera.
like look at it. Look at this. This is Bailey's paint job. It's beautiful. This is his Death Watch. It's talking about some sort of Marines. These are
Some sort of rings.
Bailey's. Sorry,
And
Sophice's Death Watch.
Death Watch.
Sophice's Necrons. Look at them. They're battling it out. We got Sophice.
Uh,
Look at it. Look at the Smash Captain. Look at that shield. It's beautiful.
so
Anyway,
so Rob, you've set up the scenario. So kind of paint the picture of what you want to do here. So Necrons are facing off against the um, Death Watch Marines. So and obviously we have a Smash Captain on. If you want to point him out here to the viewers.
oh,
So
okay. Here we go.
you
We
see,
got
we have
this.
Smash Captain here, and then the Marines are backed up, and then we got the Necrons right behind the wall. So go ahead and what's the scenario now? So whose turn is it? What are we gonna do?
So, let's say this is the end of the turn. Like now, when we had our Smash Captain here, he has Deep Strike 9 inches away. So let's assume that he either flew across the board and he advanced or whatever it may be.
So we're already well into the turns, and he's made it up to this point.
Yeah.
So we're past the deep strike phase. We're
So, so the reason you want to especially consider heroic intervention is there are some special rules like so that extend heroic intervention. They don't seem particularly strong. Like having a heroic intervention, now you can heroic intervene at 6 inches. Like that it doesn't seem particularly strong, especially if you don't ever take advantage of the rule. Now, if I had it where so like now I have my jump captain here, and he moves his 14. Now I if I'm trying to charge a unit here behind this cover, if this is like the forest kind of cover, where like the in official GW rules, I get -2 to my charge rolls, and like just all sorts of different things. Like if the Tau have or like the Tanklefoot drone or uh, like all sorts of different things that can stunt my charge. Now, what I can do instead is if I have a more reliable advance, like if this were a bike captain and I knew I could advance 6 inches, or if I don't trust my own dice, if I have absolute terrible dice, which I do, like I can have it where I make my advance roll and I push forward, and instead I come up to this point to safely. Now, once I've hit this point, I end my turn. Now, when I get to this point, so I made all of these decisions in advance. Like, again, heroic intervention has no bearing. Now, if I'm back here and I just want to charge, I'm gonna roll my 2d6 and try and make it, and like I don't get, I make my 7 instead of my 9. Like I'm not getting it. Custodes, tanks, and repulsors. Yes, they have minuses to advance rolls.
to
Yes,
charge
thank you.
against.
Yes, like so, if I were to charge a Custodes tank or a repulsor, the new repulsor that just was announced, the Impulsor, I believe is its name, the
Oh,
Rhino.
does it
The
have a minus a debuff for
it's
charging
if
against
it
it?
has the repulsor jets, so the new tank has it the same way. Where
Okay.
if you try and charge them, you're gonna get. Now I'm making a brass assumption, but assuming that the same tank frame has the same rules, I don't think is a very big leap. So let's say I didn't want to individually charge for Overwatch or whatever it may be. I can use my advance rule. Now, if my advance is very safe, like again, I can
Impulsor. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Impulsor. Yeah, I was right. I know what I'm doing. I make my advance roll. It's safe for some reason. Like I said, I have a bike captain, or again, I can make my advance roll. I might have re-rolls on my advances for some reason or another. If I'm Tyranids, I know I get like re-rolls on advance rolls. Or Kraken gets 3d6. And you get to pick 2, and it's so good. So there are a myriad of reasons for me to want to advance. So essentially, I want to get in close combat, but I don't want to charge. Now, once I've gotten to this position, now my turn is over. Now, what this also has as kind of a problem is that I have to leave him vulnerable for a turn. Like so, we're gonna go, in move, in your standard order, you go movement, shooting, assault, right? Or
Yes.
movement shooting, movement psychic shooting assault, but whatever.
Yes.
So once you have like they are going to get a full round of shooting.
Shooting,
Now, if
yes.
it was like for example, if it was Tau, it wouldn't matter. They're going to get all their shooting anyway. So um, if you end up where your like if you think this guy can survive long enough through a full shooting phase, essentially what's going to happen is during your opponent's turn, as long as you're within 3 inches of another model of an opposing model, you can make a heroic intervention, which you get essentially a 3-inch move. Now that is base for every character. Now again, like there are different things. Like so knights, I know knight characters, all of them get 6-inch um, heroic interventions if they are characters. So that at least is one off the top of my head that you would be able to take advantage of. So like let's say I'm moving my Imperial Knight. I move my 12 inches. I advance my d6 inches. And then on top of that, I have a 6-inch threat range that I can charge into next turn. Even after, so like House Raven, I can move and advance and still shoot all of my weapons. So I can move, advance,
Shoot.
I take a round of shooting. I take a round of movement. Anything that's within 6 inches, I can still get in there and and it's not
So,
a it is not considered a charge because you did not make a charge move. But you are able to engage into close combat. You can move.
so heroic intervention essentially lets you bypass getting Overwatch.
Kind of yes. Again, you're having to maneuver around because he may just go, oh, I'm gonna move back, you know, my inch and leave my this character in the dust. But again, that's going to leave this character more protected by the character rule because let's say you're 3 inches away and then you move to be 4 inches away, then you have a 4 inch. They have a 4 inch threat bubble that they have to take out everything within 4 inches to be
Before they
able
can.
to before they can start shooting this character.
This is true.
Or they may come in and charge you. Like if they're like, again, you know, when you're going against other melee style units, this is not particularly relevant. But when you're doing things like deep striking smash captains, when you're doing knights, no, it is so it is every character gets a 6-inch uh, heroic intervention. It's the base knight rule. But House Griffith, I know specifically, turns all of your knights into characters. But again, if you make a full house, a knight house, if you take 3 big knights, one of them is opted to be a character. Also, if you want to make them a free blade, that's another character you can have. So you can actually you can have between 1 and 3 characters for taking knights, and they all have 6-inch hero consolidations. I know that because I play a decent amount of knights. But again, there are more examples. Again, you're going to have to refer to your individual codexes. I'm sure that Eldar or Dark Eldar probably have something along these lines. I would have to look at them individually, but we'll do that. We'll do that later. So again, I'm just talking about heroic intervention right now. Now, the big thing is once the opponent's turn. So this was the end of my turn. This is where I landed at the end of my turn. Now the Necrons here, they have a bunch of options. Now they probably don't really want to engage on the Smash Captain, and like they can gamble and they can shoot their Gauss rifles here at this Deathwatch squad to try and, or you can have the rest of your units try and shoot this Deathwatch squad here to try and get the character protection away. But they're gonna have to get rid of all 4 of these guys, like all 10 wounds, if I want them to. Like if I want to keep this character protected by having this guy here the whole time, that's my prerogative. Or I can just move him. I can get him killed as soon as I want, and now I have a cover bonus for the rest of the squad. So like I have a bunch of different tactical options right here, even in this just one kind of. It's not a particularly advanced scenario. It's just 2 squads. Like there's not a whole lot of intervening parts. There's just one character, one squad, one squad. So three total sets.
So yeah, in a normal game, basically, you're saying that there's a lot of other stuff going on. We just kind of condense it down to like this particular scenario and kind of how, players at home or whatever can take advantage of this scenario because these things can happen within like a larger scale battle, obviously, and we're just kind of looking at the small piece of it. Is that right?
Yeah, and even at that point, so sometimes again, if you have absolutely terrible dice, I may be 3 inches away. and I roll. Where are they? Hold on. There's one. Bam. I pull this up on the. I pull this up on my charge roll. I mean, I can burn my CP. Let's say I don't have any CP, so I fail my charge roll. Well, this guy is stuck like Chuck. Well, he's gonna be stuck like Chuck anyway. So, but they're gonna have to shoot at this squad still. And again, unless they start maneuvering around, there's gonna be a whole bunch of different. There's a myriad of things going on. So, but I have an option. If there is somebody within 3 inches, this guy is not completely done.
Yeah, useless. Yeah,
He
he's so
will.
useful.
He will like this is this heroic intervention happens on your opponent's turn. It does not happen on your turn. Like before, again, heroic intervention not particularly useful. Did a whole bunch of stuff and didn't make the game any better. This gives characters a very a 3 inch threat bubble at all times. Like, and the thing is, like, this isn't affected by charge modifiers. This is not a charge move. This is a heroic intervention move.
So when you and it's a 3 inch from him, right? Just from
Yes, you have to have an enemy model within 3 inches. It is
of
not.
the actual
It is not the. It's
captain.
not the old. Like, or it's not the same as the charge, where if you make it within 1 inch, you make it. No, it is. You have to be 3 inches or less. Like two.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 inches
So
down to
it's not
2.99.
3.9.
It is not 3.9. No,
Okay,
it is exactly 3 inches
or less.
from base to base or whatever it may be.
Okay.
Now with that, when you let's say I am able to perform my heroic intervention, like he gets in there. So I have to survive. So his movement phase, I have to survive his shooting phase or psychic, which Necrons don't have, and his shooting phase. Now, if I can survive his shooting phase, let's say two of these guys get wiped out, doesn't really matter. All of these things are largely irrelevant. My important thing, I wanted to get the Smash Captain in. These guys were my chaff. They were my objective holders. They've done their job successfully. I need to get the Smash Captain in to delete this squad so I can fully control this objective that we were going to contest. Whatever. There's a myriad of different reasons. Now, during his charge phase, now there was some confusion. Before it was clarified, or it was there was some contestation. Now, let's say I'm the Necrons. I make no charge moves. Heroic Intervention specifically says after an enemy has completed all of their charge moves, then you can do this. Then you can Heroic Intervention. Now, if he didn't make any charge moves,
At all.
that what happens, right?
So you can't heroic intervention.
That has been FAQ'd. You can.
Oh.
Because his charge phase is completed. Like the charge phase goes through. He has completed all of his charge moves. And it was
Regardless-
0. The
Okay.
number was 0. If he made no charge moves,
It still counts because he made 0 charge moves.
yes.
Okay.
All of his charge moves have gone. Now you can make your heroic intervention.
Interesting. So you can heroic intervene regardless if the enemy decides to not charge you, but because within the charge phase, it counts as them as a 0.
Yes.
So in this case, Warhammer or GW is looking at 0 as a number.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah,
That
okay.
would be the best way to describe
Okay,
it.
cool.
So, yeah, you just move and the other thing is yes, you can move 3 inches. It says closer to the nearest enemy model. Now, if you don't get in you can be within 1 inch, and then that will start engaging you in fight phase. So during the fight phase, you pick a unit that is within 1 inch of an enemy model. Now he's going to get to pick first, which means he's going to swing first and all that other jazz. So again, this is a very semi-niche, but very strong ability within every singular army. Like everybody has at least one character that they want to get into close combat in some way, shape, or form. Now, being able to do that with a little bit more protection again. So if I heroic intervene into Tau, they don't get Overwatch.
That's big.
So if I'm dropping down by the Storm Surge, like the giant 20-shot Monstar, and he put down anchors and he's not moving, like it's a safe heroic intervention.
Okay. Okay.
Now
So
I have to move closer to the nearest enemy model. That doesn't mean I have to be within 1 inch. I have to end within 1 inch. That gives me a lot. I can move up to 3 inches. I can move, I can move like all over here. I can move, like there's a big cone or a big semicircle of area that I can move. I can move back over here and join up with the squad. I can move, like I can be all the way out here if I need to like come over and contest this objective. There's a lot of flexibility with heroic intervention and just being able like during their
so you
turn.
just have to move closer to.
It has to be closer.
Okay, as long
It
as it's
doesn't matter how
close.
far close. It doesn't say specifically how far closer, just closer.
So technically, if you're 3 inches away and you move 2.9 anywhere else,
Well, I
that.
can move 3 inches as long as I'm 2.9 inches away from. So
Okay.
from this model here, this Necron here, I can move. There's a 2.9 inch bubble around him that I have to move and be closer to,
Mhm.
and then there's a 3 inch bubble around him. The way to look at it is there's a 3 inch bubble around him that he can move now, and then there's a 2.9 inch bubble around him that he has to move. Now, where those two circles intersect,
Okay.
that is the full flow of the
Where he
full
can
area
really
that
jump
you can
in.
move. Yeah, so he can
So like
move
an ellipse, I guess.
exactly. So I could move over here towards cover, and then I could be within 1 inch across the wall,
Mhm.
so that
You're still in
I'm
combat.
still in combat. Yeah, I could move three inches as long as it was 2.9. So I can move over here and close and cut off the unit from retreat.
Escape routes.
Yeah, cut off fallback positions and charge with the other unit. Again, well, they don't have character rules, so this is happening during the opponent's turn. Like I can come in here,
But he gets to tie him up,
hmm
and then it's
and then
happening
this
your
is during,
turn.
and then during my turn, I have a whole myriad of options. This is
You can do a
all
lot.
during his turn,
Yeah.
and then he's not going to have any other activations or anything else to do after like the fight phase.
And so there's really no way for an opponent to retaliate heroic interventions. They have to kind of take care of it before it.
Yes, it is.
Before
It
charge
is.
phase.
It is a positioning strength. It's positioning tactic. So again, it's also tied into close combat. But all of these things they come together and they give you a whole bunch of options within the character paradigm. So if there's no questions off the top of my head or off the top or any from the viewers at home, that's all I'm going to cover for now for heroic intervention. I think it's been a decent amount of time and effort, and I hope that you are able to implement it into your games and that you grow a little more as a player.
Yeah.
And I hope that you're able to maybe win another game.
Yeah.
It's all because you watched this video.
Me too. So hopefully, yeah, it's a lot of good information, and I will take it and try to utilize some of the strategies. Hopefully, you guys at home like what you guys saw. If you do, please like and subscribe to the channel. Check out our streams. We try to do these regularly, and if you comment questions at the end of the video, we'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at and see what people out there are wanting to learn and know, and then we'll make another video on it. So. That's it for me. I don't have any more questions. I think I have a better understanding now. Really big important points is the fact that you can heroic intervention regardless if the opponent charges you or not, or makes charge moves. The charge phase existing allows me to be able to have it. So, that's an important thing with many phases in 40K. All the phases still exist regardless of whether or not you utilize them, and in this case, charge. So that's a very important take for me personally. I think that's really really good thing. So